Hello everyone, I'm Autobot Sonic, the Telltale Gamer, bringing everything Telltale Games, Transformers, and more. So, I can see for the past couple years, I've been kind of lacking in the Transformers section of my YouTube channel, and I am, again, so sorry for that. As you all know, I posted about that in my video. I posted that's either going to be either the day before this video, or maybe earlier on the day this video comes out, or whenever it comes out. But anyway, I'm so sorry again for the lack of Transformers videos over the last couple years. I know I stopped around early last year, I believe, when the War for Cybertron trilogy was coming out, and I had meant to get to finish the rest of the Cyberverse reviews and just like continue following the show. And I don't know, it was just between just like other stuff going on in my life and just, I guess, just a general demotivation with YouTube and just finding a way, struggling to find a way to keep myself motivated. I just haven't been able to bring myself to do the rest of the reviews, and I'm so sorry for everyone who has been who's been loving my Cyberverse reviews of Season 1, and I'm sorry it took quite a while to get here, but now my last Cyberverse review was back in, I believe, February of 2019, so almost 3 years ago, and now we are 10 days away from the release of the second half of the Cyberverse series finale, which will be the second half of Season 4, coming. I know it's already out in Canada, but it's not coming out on YouTube for the rest of the world for another 10 days, so I'm going to try to get as many of these Cyberverse reviews out as possible before then and continue doing it because I know how many of you guys liked it. The Cyberverse reviews did a lot. Season 1 reviews I did a couple years ago did really well, and even Mr. Jeremy Levy, who is the voice of Bumblebee in Cyberverse, on Twitter he had posted back in the day that he was a huge fan of my Cyberverse reviews. So Jeremy Levy, if you're watching this, thank you so much for doing this. It means so much to me that the voice of Bumblebee officially really liked my Cyberverse reviews, and I'm sorry the rest of this series took so long, but over the next few weeks and hopefully months, I will be going through Cyberverse from start to finish, and yeah, just getting back more in Transformers, and hopefully we'll be able to cover the next Transformers show when it premieres, presumably sometime next year on Nickelodeon together as well. I'm really excited for that. So yeah, anyway, with that out of the way, we're going to be just diving into Transformers Cyberverse Season 1, Episode 16, The Extinction Event. So this episode, I have to admit, I had to just rewatch my reviews of the earlier Cyberverse episodes in Season 1 just to get a better grasp of what exactly has happened. And I gotta say, compared to like the earlier episodes in the season, mostly the more recent ones we had with like Siloed, Teletran X, Matrix of Leadership, this is definitely a step up from them. It's kind of average in some parts, but overall I had a great time with this episode. I felt that it was an above average episode compared to the other ones we had in Cyberverse so far. So we're going to go over everything this episode did right and what it did wrong. So this episode starts off shortly after the events of the last episode, King of the Dinosaurs, which if you have not already seen my review episode 15, go ahead and click on the link. I'll probably post a little card to it in the description or something like that. I made the video roughly about a few weeks after my review of Siloed, but I just never got around to finishing editing together the video, so that's why it took like almost 3 years for me to finally do that review. So I hope the wait was worth it for that. It takes place immediately after King of the Dinosaurs, with Grimlock's, Windblade, and Bumblebee and Teletran X all at Grimlock's base that he made as a replica of the Ark's bridge with help from his dinosaur friends back in the day. And using it, they discover that that Shockwave has arrived at Cybertron, as we saw back in Siloed, and this time he is taking control of the Decepticon operations on Earth away from Slipstream, who has pretty much been the main bad guy for the majority of Season 1. This time it's kind of been Slipstream leading around Thundercracker, Nova Storm, Acid Storm, and Thrust around. But it's cool to see Shockwave take a more proactive role in this game, in this show, considering that we've really only dealt with Slipstream and the Seekers throughout the whole of the main present-day storyline, while other bigger Decepticons like Shadow Striker, Shadow Striker, Shockwave, Megatron. Those characters have been more reserved for the past, for the flashback memory storylines. Speaking of Shadow Striker, she is also accompanying Shockwave on this mission, and Shockwave plans to get rid of the Autobots before they have the chance to wake up by literally annihilating all life on Earth. And to do that, he takes his flagship with Shadow Striker to both the North and South poles of the world, attempting to mess up the magnetic pole of or magnetic stability of the world, so that it causes total global destabilization that ends up eliminating all organic life on Earth. And of course, obviously, the Autobots, Windblade, Bumblebee, and Grimlock can allow this, so they propose an idea of each of them splitting the team to take down each of the ships. But then Teletran X informs them that they really only have to take down one of those ships, because without one, the other won't be able to do anything to the world. So with that, they all decide to head down to the North Pole, since that's the closer one to them. And doing that, Windblade gets out a large cargo plane for Teletran X to fly Bumblebee and Grimlock there, while she just flies there on her own. And I had to pause for a second when I saw this, because I'm I never saw Windblade get access to this cargo plane before in the other episodes. Maybe I missed something because it's been a few years since I've watched Cyberverse. So I went back to King of the Dinosaurs, and no, we never learned how Windblade got this plane. We can just assume maybe she found it in a scrapyard or something, and Teletran X is just somehow able to pilot it. But regardless of that, the team heads to North Pole with the intent of stopping Slipstream and her band of Seekers, Thundercracker and Nova Storm, from their ship destabilizing the North Pole. So once the Autobots get to the North Pole to stop Slipstream and her Seekers from destabilizing North Pole, we get this really funny moment where it's kind of like a running gag throughout this whole episode of each of the Decepticons slowly going down the chain of command, as to who gets be in charge of the ship to help Shockwave kill all life on the Earth, basically. So it starts off with Slipstream control with Shadow Striker, Thundercracker, and Nova Storm, and so they're all there. And so the Autobots make a plan to try and each of them distract one of these Decepticons to lead them out of the ship. So it starts off first with Shadow Striker in command. Then, or no, I think it's Slipstream first in command. Windblade swings around and catches Slipstream's attention, so she and Nova Storm go out to deal with her and leaves Shadow Striker in charge. Or Shadow Striker orders Slipstream to go, and Nova Storm to go take care of Windblade. Then after that, Bumblebee just waltzes on into the front of the ship security cameras in front of Shadow Striker and just starts twerking basically in front of the camera for Shadow Striker, which I just thought was hilarious. And it reminds me, because I distinctly remember this video clip was being memed so much a few years ago. I thought this was a season 2 clip back when I saw it on Twitter a few years ago, but this clip is specifically burned into my mind, because I remember so many people just putting random songs over it, and just I think Comet and Cam or Diamond Bolt edited it so that it was the Transformers Energon theme song, and another person did the Transformers animated theme song, and it's just hilarious watching that go down. So Shadow Striker, after seeing Bumblebee, goes out to handle Bumblebee, and now that leaves poor Thundercracker alone in the ship to deal with help Shockwave destabilize the world. And of course he's surrounded by a few Shockwave's drones. So then we get this nice little chase and fight scenes with Windblade battling Slipstream and Nova Storm, and then Bumblebee battling Shadow Striker. In the case of Bumblebee's case, it's more so just Bumblebee running away from Shadow Striker, while Windblade is actively fighting Slipstream and Nova Storm. The fight choreography with Windblade and Slipstream fight is actually really cool, with how it starts in the sky with Slipstream and Nova Storm chasing Windblade, and then it ends with Windblade managing to get the upper hand. She flies up, transforms back into her main form, and then jumps on top of both Slipstream and Nova Storm to throw them off balance, and she ends up making up room for herself to escape. So with Thundercracker being the only one on board now, Grimlock storms the gate and takes out Thundercracker and all Shockwave's drones, but let Teletran X stop the destabilization process. But unfortunately, Teletran X informs him that the process has already begun and it's too late to cancel it. So Grimlock just resorts to his Dinobot mode, which we saw a bit more of last episode with King of the Dinosaurs. But I do like, again, how there's sort of this multi-personalities between Grimlock in his bot form and then Grimlock in his dino form, because in the fact that Grimlock as a dino is so sophisticated and classy in bot mode, but then when he like kind of goes back to more like primal and just dumb G1 Grimlock when he's in dino form. I kind of like that, and I think it not only does it remind me back of G1 Grimlock when he had that one episode where it got really smart, but it vaguely reminds me in a way of, I believe, the War for Cybertron Grimlock was like as well, in terms of the games, not the Netflix series just wrapped up earlier this year. And so I really like that. So Grimlock just starts pounding away at everything inside the ship, breaking it to pieces, and that's that distraction that Grimlock causes. Not only does it destroy that half of Shockwave's ship, it also allows Bumblebee and Windblade enough time to escape from Shadow Striker, Shadow Striker, Nova Storm, and Slipstream. So it ends with Bumblebee and Windblade heading back to the cargo plane. Telegram X is already flying, with Bumblebee just barely managing to get back inside and kick Shadow Striker out of the plane before it takes off. And so all of them simply escape, having stopped the Extinction event, with Slipstream and Shadow Striker reporting the failure to Shockwave, who doesn't seem too concerned with it, as we see at the very end of the episode, one of his drones had managed to stow away on the cargo ship. And where we go from there, well, who knows. Now, as for the cons of this episode, compared to the other episodes such as Siloed, Teltran X, and Major Leadership, there are significantly less cons in this episode. I feel like not a lot, like, I can't say it's the most exciting episode, but it definitely like had its humorous moments that made up for that lack of action. The only thing is, I felt the action scenes were a little bit underwhelming, the highlight being Windblade and Slipstream and Nova Storm's fight, with Bumblebee and Shadow Striker. Aside from Bumblebee just running away from Shadow Striker most of the time and dodging her attacks, nothing else really happens. And then Grimlock smashing all of Shockwave's drones was cool, but other than that, that's really all I can say. It was just kind of just a bit underwhelming in terms of action, but other than that, it was really fun and lighthearted episode compared to just the more, I guess, smoggy, slower, and just duller episodes we've had in the past. And so I think that's a great change of pace for Season 1 of Cyberverse. And so that was my review of Transformers Cyberverse Season 1, Episode 16, The Extinction Event. If I had to rate this episode, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. Definitely a step up from Teletran X, Siloed, and all those other, like, I'll call it the Rescued Windblade episodes. We'll call it that. Better than the Rescued Windblade arc. But it still feels a little bit underwhelming in some areas, but the humor, especially that totally forever immortalized memeable Bumblebee twerking clip, makes up for it, and I really can't wait to see what Cyberverse has in store with these last 2 episodes of Season 1, and then we get to jump right into Season 2, so I'm really excited to be covering that, even though I'm about probably 2 years off, 2 to 3 years late to the reviews. But yeah, anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it, especially Mr. Jeremy Levy, if you're watching this too. Thank you all, thank you so much for providing such a memorable interpretation of Bumblebee. I really absolutely love your take on him, and also it means a lot to me still having actually you having recorded a personal voicemail for me after that late last year. Yeah, actually, as I'm recording this, it'll be a year ago tomorrow when you actually got it. So thank you again so much for that, and I really hope to see you in other Transformer stuff, because honestly, you were one of the highlights of Cyberverse, sir, so kudos to you. So that's it for this. I'll be back soon with episode 17, Awaking Sleeping Giants. If you like this review, be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe, and I will see you guys later.